Good evening, degenerates.
Good evening, degenerates.
We are finally here. Welcome back to Degen Hours. Week 1, college football has arrived.
Woo!
We are finally in the mix. We've been doing off-season episodes for everything.
Back on.
We covered golf. We covered basketball. We covered more golf. No, we covered UFC. We covered literally everything. Mike can't like that for UFC because he is hot.
Yeah, I love UFC. Back.
And we're finally back. College football. I cannot wait. I mean, I've been waiting to bet college football games for like
Months
feels like
and months
3 years
and
now.
months.
What the
I don't know what that was.
was that? I think he's.
Someone get Intern Johnson, get him some tissues.
No.
Someone get Mike some cleanup on aisle
No.
3. He got the Quinn Ewers jersey all sticky.
Whoa,
I mean, not
whoa,
that it
that's
wasn't.
a family
Not that
show.
it wasn't already.
It's a family
I mean, we
show.
know how Mike treats Texas players, but this
What?
is week 1, and Texas is finally playing. LSU's finally playing. Ohio State's finally playing. Clemson's about to get the shit beat out of them, and we got games to
Is that
talk
why no
about.
jersey?
No jersey.
Yeah, I was
All
like,
business.
why is there no jersey?
All business. It's a pick
Fair
show.
enough.
Oh my
We had a week 0 episode,
football's here.
and I went 2-0 in the picks I gave out in the one game with the under.
0-2, brother.
And then
0-2.
Georgia Tech money line and on the spread. But
those picks didn't
I'm
count.
feeling so locked.
No.
I'm feeling so locked in. It's insane. So it's man in the suit time. It's just like,
Can you feel it?
Professional.
Can
we're ready
you
to
feel
roll.
it?
I can feel the sensation in my hand. It's like Thor's hammer. My hand just wants to go like this.
Before
now.
we make all the picks on our
No,
card, which I know
no.
some of us have massive cards.
No love.
What are you singing? What are you singing?
Horns down.
No.
Oh, he's singing Horns Down?
No.
I can get behind that.
Oh,
No.
Horns Down,
Horns
baby.
down.
We got
Horns
some games to
stay
talk
up,
about. Without
baby.
further ado, let's get into the action. Week 1 starts off hot.
Uno.
That's hot as
With
it can for
mucho
you.
The game of the
fuerte.
century.
Game of the century.
Clemson Tigers, Georgia Bulldogs in a neutral site played in Atlanta,
It's
Georgia.
neutral.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous that we keep getting those. We play a neutral national championship against LSU in Louisiana.
In the Superdome.
In the Superdome. We're going
it's
to a
neutral.
neutral site to
Nobody
play
wants to go to
Georgia.
Death Valley.
Oh, it's like the game. The openers are always in like neutral sites.
Yeah,
like in
but
NFL
also
stadium.
ain't nobody want to go to Death Valley. That's why.
You're
Which
right.
one?
No one wants to play us.
Bang.
Which one's Death Valley?
I agree.
Who's Death Valley?
He's just
Team.
saying either one.
Okay.
Yeah, either.
Oh, I didn't know.
I agree.
Death
That's
Valley.
why
I didn't wanna go
meet
there.
in the middle, Superdome.
Yeah, super.
That's fair. Fair is fair.
Meet in the middle, Atlanta, Georgia.
It's called compromise.
For the matchup with Carson Beck versus Cade Klubnik, the most anticipated quarterback duel we've ever seen.
God.
UGA minus 13.5.
Ooh,
I haven't done the research on this, but this has got to be the biggest spread against Clemson that I've seen in like the last
5
decade.
years.
Probably.
Yeah.
No, more than that. I don't think
it's
Clemson was
not
ever.
big
Before
enough.
Deshaun?
Deshaun was like a decade ago.
Oh, really? Was it? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
he started playing for Clemson like
I feel like the only
2014,
relevancy was like a
2015.
couple years ago.
No, I
with
think it was like
Deshaun.
a decade probably is the last time we were 2 touchdown underdogs
Jesus
over that.
Christ.
So a massive number that we're not used to seeing, the total 48.5. I'll go ahead and start because it's my team.
Yep.
Oh.
Both your teams, actually.
I know, actually.
Yeah,
it's his two favorite teams. We don't know which one's won yet.
No,
Yeah.
it's,
Two favorite
this
teams.
breaks my heart. This is the first time I will not pick Clemson confidently in week 1.
Oof.
And I'm not betting on the game at all. But I'm just going to give you my open analysis because I can't bet
a
against
pick show.
Clemson. I'm not going to bet against Clemson. If I were to give out a pick, it would be Georgia minus 13.5 and the under. But I just want to say, I have no idea what I'm going to see from Clemson. I think this is probably the most talented defense we've had in a very long time. But the problem in the last couple of years hasn't been the defense at all.
Nope.
It's been quarterback play and skill positions. Our wide receivers really haven't been able to get open ever. Like we had the most insane wide receiver run with Deshaun and Trevor. And then you go the last couple of years, literally no draft picks at
Yeah.
the wide receiver position at all. I think that changes this year. So the one thing I think I'm going to say about Clemson is that our defense is top notch. They're young. A lot of really good sophomores on the D-line. We got Barrett Carter, the best linebacker in the country, returning as a senior. So that's on the good side.
Yep.
And then I think this receiver unit is the best we've had since Trevor, with the Justin Ross and T. Higgins and Hunter Renfrow and all them. We have Tyler Brown and Antonio Williams returning as sophomores. They were freshmen last year. And then we have 2 5-star freshman receivers, TJ Moore and Bryant Westco, who both I think will get playing time. TJ Moore is in the slot and Bryant Westco's on the outside. I think these guys can get open. So I think there's a chance, since Georgia, a lot of their corners went to the draft and their safeties. I mean, most of their defense did, to be honest. I think we can get open against them. And if Cade can put the ball in the right spot and our defense plays well, I think we actually have a chance to win this game, but that chance is much smaller than the chance that Georgia blows us out. And one stat I wanted to say before we move on to the rest of the panel about this game, because I know I'm not giving out a pick really, is that Carson Beck only took 17 snaps last year behind in the fourth quarter. A lot of those were again against Alabama in the SEC championship, and they lost that game. So this team is not used to being behind, which obviously isn't good for betting Clemson because it means they're probably not ever going to be ahead.
Yeah.
But if they are ahead in a big game, week 1, who knows? Kind of uncharted territory for this team with a lot of new players on both sides of the ball. So that's all I'll say. Go Tigers, but this is going to be probably a rough opener.
Yeah.
How you feeling about it, Ryan?
Wowzers. I mean, what an opener for you. Holy shit.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
pretty nervous for this game.
tough rolls with that.
Yeah, first off, I'm absolutely all in hammering this under. I think no matter how the game outcome goes, this goes under. Clemson wins, it goes under. Georgia probably wins. We'll talk about the cover in a second, but I just think week 1, new offenses, got to get clicking. You know what I mean? I just think it's going to be slow, and both defenses are so good that it's going to be crusty.
I like the under.
Rusty offense is huge. And then personally, I just have to go Clemson plus 13.5 here.
Wow.
I think that this.
Hey, we'll take it.
I've been saying it last year. I think this Georgia team is not the Georgia team we used to see. They win. Don't get me wrong. They get to the spot they need to be in that championship game in the SEC or in a playoff every year.
Yep.
But they weren't covering spreads last year.
Nope.
They never looked like they were blowing out teams, and they finally lost the SEC championship. I think that this is just. We were saying it last year. Too big of numbers for Georgia to cover, and they don't need to. They might win by. They probably will win by 7 to 10, but I think Clemson keeps us close. Big defensive game, riding Clemson.
And one thing I accidentally skipped my notes, then we'll go over to Mike, though, is last year was our first year with Garrett Riley as offensive coordinator. He's the highest paid OC in all of college football. He was pretty regarded as one of the best offensive minds in football, and we didn't let him call plays last year. It was still the Dabo offense of draws, screen plays, RPOs that don't work. He's had a full year with this quarterback and a full offseason, and Clemson lost more games last year than they had in conference in the last 8 years combined. So I think there's a decent chance Dabo kind of handed the reins off to Garrett Riley and finally lets him do it. If Garrett Riley, if this offense, if they show up with actually running an offense we haven't seen since the Trevor Lawrence days, who knows where this team could go. They could be really good this year. But if not, then it's more of the same. But I did want to mention that one thing.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I am so all in on Georgia here. It's not even funny. I don't think there is a accurate analogy into which I believe Clemson will be stomped into oblivion.
Stomped into oblivion.
Stomped into
Michael being out
oblivion
of
is
metaphors
it's actually
is
quite
probably
a
a decent analogy.
quite a terrible phrase, because my actual if I were to do a final score prediction, it would be 35-15 Georgia. I love the over here. It's
pretty close.
So
It's pretty close to the cover.
You love
6
the
points
over.
off the cover.
Huh?
That's
I love the
barely
over.
over.
Wait, 35-14.
15.
35-15. So
The over.
50
I don't know.
points. So you love the over by 1.5?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I absolutely love it. So here's my
It's also
logic.
not stomped
Also
into oblivion.
covers
No,
by
it's
5
not.
points.
So that's why I said it's a bad term
It's an under a touchdown
phrases.
cover and a
Also,
barely
you said
squeaked out
30.
over.
Did you say 35-14 or 15?
He said
35-15.
15.
So how does Clemson get to 15?
5
So,
field goals.
no, it's either 2 touchdowns and one of them being a 2-point conversion,
Sure.
or
Makes
or
sense.
5 field goals.
2 touchdowns
or-
and missed extra point and a safety.
I mean, see, that was one of the things I was going to say.
That's what he was thinking.
Yeah, with the safety. I was
was
definitely going to toss in a safety there.
All right, I'll let you, Mike.
But anyways, the reason why I got to this conclusion is because last year, obviously, this is a new year, but Georgia had the 12th ranked defense in points allowed. So obviously, they're very, very solid. But again, I think Clemson is a reputable program. They have distinguished themselves through college football history, and I don't think they're going to go out, terribly sad and depressing. Again, I think.
Where are you going?
Dude, what are you saying?
Like, dude.
I think Georgia's going to cover, and I think
saying,
it's
like-
going to be the over.
Okay, at first
He's back! Mike's back!
At first it was stomped into oblivion. Then it was barely cover, barely over, but I love the over. And then it was talking about distinguished programs. I don't know what was going on
For
there.
some reason, my
Georgia
favorite
and the over.
my favorite sentence in that was when Mike said last year, because obviously this is a new year, and then proceeded, and I don't know why that did it.
You had
for
to
me.
clarify.
Yeah.
You had to clarify the last year. Mario, what are you thinking here before we move on to another game? This game is, it's first game. First game of the season.
Insane first game.
Yeah,
I'm
first-
actually so excited for this game.
I'm pumped.
Game 1.
I'm actually on the under with you guys as well. I like two good defenses going at it. It was I don't love Georgia minus 13.5. The only reason I'm going there is simply because of what I've seen from Cade Klubnik. There's just nothing in my mind that can convince me that this guy's going to score 2 touchdowns.
Fair.
That's fair. That's a fair point.
Or at least maybe like more
No,
than
it
2
needs,
touchdowns.
it needs to look different. If the offense is more of the same, this is a murder. It
Yeah.
still might hit the under, but it might be 40-3.
yeah, like something just.
That would
Yeah,
be
if the
bad.
offense doesn't.
I
Talk
need
about
to
the
see.
ACC just crumbling.
Yeah,
Oh,
I,
yeah.
I need to see more
One
from
team
Cade.
from the
So,
conference.
I mean, I could be convinced.
Miami.
At the time of this filming, I'm going Georgia minus 13.5 and the under. Could be swayed, though, to go Clemson plus 13.5. It's a big number.
We'll get there
Georgia
for you.
doesn't always
We'll
cover.
get there for you.
What a game to start the season, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
crazy.
9 a.m. Pacific on Saturday.
We're just
morning.
gonna be
I love it.
hammered watching.
I mean, this is going to be a wild
I
game.
mean, speak for yourself. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm
I'm going to be
I might just be
blacked out
awake.
by 9:35.
just from the
Yeah.
night before. Continue.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm nervous as hell for this game. But, all right, next game, Notre Dame at Texas A&M.
Oh God.
What a matchup that is. I mean,
Yeah.
Notre Dame, people are all over this year.
Oh,
Yeah.
People
every-
love preseason.
Every year.
Every year.
Preseason ranked 7. They just got Riley Leonard. He's top 10 Heisman odds, but they're going into. I mean, this has got to be their toughest game of the year. I've looked at their schedule. They have a couple.
Probably, yeah.
They have a couple
an easy
tough
schedule.
games, but I mean, in Texas A&M, starting week 1, arguably the hardest place to play in college football.
That's what they said.
EA
That's what they
ranked.
said.
Yeah, it's the ranking. That's what they say. The people say it. A&M is showing you why here in the spread. They're minus 2.5 as the 20 ranked team against the 7th ranked team. Total's 46.5. So, it's a little smaller of a total than the Clemson game, but much tighter of a spread. Mario, I'm going to you here. They're playing an SEC team at home.
Yeah.
Or they're going to, play Texas
Yeah.
A&M. Texas A&M is at home. How do you think Notre Dame reacts to this? Like, in the past years, this would be, everyone who bets Notre Dame and then they get blown out. But is it any different with Riley Leonard?
I don't know. I mean, last year we saw them go into some pretty tough environments and keep it pretty close.
Started 5-0. Or
Yeah.
4-0.
I mean, they even had close games. I believe it was Ohio State, right? Last year?
We won on the last second.
Yeah, last
Wasn't it
second.
that was in Notre Dame?
Yep.
That was in Notre Dame,
And
but
they
still,
won on like the last
last-
play.
I mean, they're capable of. I don't know. I feel like this
They've been in the
coach,
mix.
this coach can coach them in big moments.
It's Marcus Freeman, right?
I don't ask.
Is their
me.
Yeah, I
coach?
think so.
I think
I think so.
it-
Yeah.
I know it's Marcus. I don't know his last name.
Nah,
But
sounds right.
yeah, this is going to be a good test. Part of me is just not sure about Riley Leonard. Obviously, he had that gruesome injury last year. If he's going to be the same, at least mobility wise, if he's going to be the same, because I don't really think he's necessarily the best passer.
Yeah.
So I'm leaning A&M minus 2.5. I think it's going to be super close though. I really like the under 46.5.
Ooh, wow. Mike?
Wow, I am the exact opposite here. Yet again. So the reason why I am going to go with Notre Dame is because, one, like Mario said, they showed last year that they can go into tough places and put up a decent amount of points. They ended the year the number 8 in offensive scoring. They averaged like 38 points per game or whatever. So definitely a pretty decent number there. Number 2, and actually the biggest reason why I'm going less for Notre Dame but more against A&M is that they just brought in a new head coach and a guy named Mike Aiko.
Elko?
Elko?
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry.
Elko.
Elko. And along with that, they have a pretty large number of transfers coming in on the defensive front.
I mean, that's A&M for you.
Every
They
single year.
love the fucking transfer portal.
They're obsessed.
that may be true, but I think, exchanging both a head coach and a lot of defensive players who they were relying on to be, the backbone of their team, which was their defense.
Yep.
I don't know how well it's going to work out. Obviously, they have the home field advantage going greatly in their favor, but if things play out as they should in my mind, I don't think they're going to be able to contain Notre Dame and Riley Leonard. I hope Riley Leonard can come back to how he was playing, but I'm going to go Notre Dame and the over.
Yeah, I'm not
For
taking
those
a
reasons.
I'm not taking a side on the total here. This game can go so many different directions. I don't even think I have any sort of indication where this goes. But I'm riding with Notre Dame plus 2.5. I don't know how many games this season you'll get to, get Notre Dame plus money on the money line or you're getting points on the spread. And I don't hate this spot. I mean, playing in A&M doesn't matter how good A&M is. They could be an unranked team. That's still a really hard game, even for a top 10 ranked team. But I'm not the biggest fan of Connor Wegman. I don't think he's the best quarterback. He's definitely not one of the best in the SEC in my mind. And A&M always has good players. You know, they always bring in a lot of really good transfers. But I'm kind of on the same page with Mike. I don't know if this team's going to be able to score as much as I think Notre Dame is to keep up. Notre Dame's defense is always pretty good. They have really good safeties literally every year, always really good secondary. And I think there is a reason they're ranked number 7 in the country. I don't think they're going to go out and win a national championship. But I do like Riley Leonard probably more than most people do. I think I'm a really big fan. I think he's a really good quarterback. Hopefully he's back to what he was. But I think Notre Dame wins here by a pretty healthy margin. I think it's close until like mid-third quarter. I think they start out a little shaky. Maybe A&M gets like a pick to start the game and goes up 7-0 or something. So I wouldn't even hate betting A&M first half and then Notre Dame full game. But I love Notre Dame on the money line, and your plus points here with the 7th team in the country. I take Notre Dame.
Yeah, this is just a classic deceit from college football, giving Notre Dame any chance to win games or be ranked this high is absolutely ridiculous. Smartest thing they ever did was keep them out of a conference so they have a chance to do well.
Wow.
This is Texas A&M minus 2.5, easy here. Biggest thing about Notre Dame last year, Sam Hartman did well, but they didn't have a great passing game or wide receivers in my opinion. They relied heavily on Audric Estime last year. Heavily. And he proved to be. He was unbelievable last year in my opinion.
so
Probably
good.
top 5
They
running
do
back.
put out running backs like crazy with Kyron and then following up with that.
Yeah, and they've always had that 4 or 5 star coming in. They don't this year, and I just personally think that Texas A&M not only is a tough place to play, but they put up points. Surprisingly, they are good in the SEC, and I just think that Notre Dame doesn't know what's coming for them. They lost all the players. It's a new team. Riley Leonard's coming off injury. It's going to be first game to play in Texas A&M.
Yeah,
It's your first game with a new team.
That is
We were talking
tough.
about
That's
DJ
a
coming in with a
really
new
tough
team,
opener.
and that was in Dublin. Like, this is going to be really tough for me. So I love Texas A&M minus 2.5, and I love the under 2. This is one of those grimy games. Both have Notre Dame has a better defense, but Texas A&M at home pretends like they're a top 10 defense in the country.
Yeah.
So I just think it's going to be a grimy like 20-10 game, but I just love Texas A&M here.
Okay. Well, I think we're pretty split on that.
Love that. I love being split.
Nice.
All right, and then the last game we're going to talk about before we get into all the action, open it up for the cards. USC at LSU.
Look at both of you guys on my cards.
Sunday night football
At LSU.
at LSU.
Bang!
Exact
It's at
neutral.
LSU.
Wait, where's it at?
Allegiant
It's in
Stadium.
Vegas.
That's
Oh, it is in
LSU,
Vegas. It is in Vegas.
baby.
Okay, it is in Vegas. You're right.
LSU.
Yeah, it's technically at LSU. Same thing as I think Clemson might be the home team against Georgia in Atlanta. But whatever, they got to take one from you somehow.
Yeah.
LSU, though, I mean, people aren't scared when they're talking about the spread. That might be a closer location to SC. Spread doesn't matter. LSU minus 4.5. That
That's
number
nuts.
is moved. It was 3.5, then
my
4, then
God.
4.5. Total 64.5. Obviously, we're starting with you. Big Tiger fan over there. How are you feeling about this team this year?
Go
I know you
Tigers.
in the preseason episodes you're pretty bullish on them. You like them.
Yeah.
Completely flipped.
No, I haven't completely flipped. Just I don't want to get my expectations too high and
That's
then just
fair.
get let
Fair.
down.
That's fair.
As
Every
what
year.
happens a little
Since
bit
Joe
too
Burrow.
often. Yeah, pretty much. So with that being said, I mean, I'm still like LSU minus 4.5. I'm still gonna nuke it.
You.
Responsibly.
Yeah,
Nuke it responsibly.
and then in the over 64 and a
Oh, come on
half,
now.
I will nuke irresponsibly. Because I just think we're going to put up points, and I think, say what you will about USC, but like they somehow score.
Miller
Their
Moss
I
can
mean,
throw the ball.
He could no. I like Miller Moss a lot actually. He can throw the ball, and I mean their defense loves to give up points.
And they
So-
probably have the best quarterback coach / offensive mind in all of college football.
So and
Facts.
everything I'm seeing out of camp, I mean they're saying Nussey's the real deal.
I love
they like him. Everyone
like
likes
him.
Nussmeier.
Garrett Nussmeier,
They
dude.
like him.
So we'll
That's
see.
not
I
the
mean, we'll see how he does. But yeah, I mean, obviously I'm taking LSU
Yeah.
cover and the over.
Okay. I like
Bang,
it.
bang.
Mike?
I'm definitely taking LSU.
Bang.
Go Tigers all day
Go
here.
Tigers.
This is just goes back to the old cliche of SEC is the hardest conference to play in. Unbelievably tough defenses. And SE, as we were joking around last year, Pac-12, no defense. They were able to score a trillion because they were going against no defense. And I think they're going to get stopped here. I think this is going to be like a 52-6 type game.
Wow, so you like the
LSU.
under?
Oh, so you like-
I like the under here, and I love LSU. All spread LSU minus 36.5.
Okay.
That's responsibly.
That's
Irresponsibly,
that's 100,000.
I would put at most 5 units
5 units on LSU minus 36 now.
on the alt spread.
Lock
Add
that
30
in. Put
points
that
to
up
the
there.
spread.
Alt
That's-
spread.
that's
bang.
wild.
Yeah.
Go Tigers.
This is a
love the
huge game for SC, in my opinion. I don't think this is as big of a game for LSU.
No.
But I think this, because LSU, however you play in the SEC is That's how you get ranked at the end of the season. I don't think, if LSU goes in the SEC, only loses 2 conference games, they finish the season with 3 losses, and like one of those is a loss to SC, they're still in the playoffs. This is a big, like, kind of set the tone game for USC. If USC can beat LSU here, it kind of sets them up for, like, people are now looking at them in the conversation with the Big Ten and, how they'll play into this new conference. Because Mike's totally right. People have, included, like me, very much so, been like, it's the Pac-12 or whatever. Like,
You can score a million.
You can go beat the Utahs of the world and the UCLAs and,
I'll sleep
a
on
Notre
Utah.
Dame once a year and you make the call or get close to the college football playoff. It doesn't show you anything. Although they weren't able to do that last year. They lost 5 games to Caleb Williams. But I like LSU big here. I think LSU really is going to be able to run this up. USC still has no defense. They didn't really do much on the defensive side. They brought in like one Georgia transfer on the D-line. That was about it. And they lost the number 1 overall pick at quarterback. And I think Miller Moss will be good. I think Zachariah Branch is probably one of the most exciting players in the country. So I'm really stoked to see him transition
fast.
from a true punt returner to actually being used in the offensive, playbook. I think he'll be great. I think they'll be able to put up some points in this game, but I don't think they hang with LSU, especially not, a week 1 game where they haven't got any continuity together. So give me LSU minus 4.5.
Bang.
I don't like this game. This is a really weird game for me. LSU week 1.
It's got a weird feeling.
LSU week 1s are weird games.
No, it is a weird game. I think it's
I feel
Y'all
better.
all
I feel
over
better
your
than the Florida State games in the past, but it is still
Weird game.
they have
Tread-
they have a tough time in week 1 games
Yeah.
in neutral
But
locations.
I'm leaning toward consensus LSU minus 4.
Consensus
I got to lean.
pick.
Personally,
Moving that table.
They moved it. Personally, I got to lean to the better quarterback here. I just think Garrett Nussmeier's better.
Nussie.
And the Miller Moss, and I think he'll perform better. I think these teams are very identical, though.
They're very similar.
LSU didn't have that great of a defense last year. We were talking about USC not
You still have
having a
Harold
defense.
Perkins, though, right?
yeah.
Yes.
So, and he might be one of the best. No, he's like kind of fell
I
off the
don't
face of the
understand
planet.
I mean, 2 completely different seasons. I don't
I know.
know.
His freshman
He's
year,
number 1 pick, or he's the last.
people were
not
looking
been
at him like
drafted?
the number 1 overall
Yeah.
pick as a freshman, and then last year no one talked
had to
about
come
him.
back so he can
I
try
could
it.
see
Smart.
I could see a resurgence of
I hope so.
some
He
Harold
was really good.
Perkins,
But yeah,
hype this year.
I had to lean LSU here. I think their team is better, but these are very, very equal teams. Like, they are very consistent with each other, but both have shitty defenses. And because of that, bet the best bet in all of college football last year. LSU overs. Only lost once last year. 1 loss. Hammer it. Put your life on it. LSU overs for the rest of your life. Love the over.
Bang. Well, there you have it.
Wow.
First consensus pick. We had 3 games to
love
talk
it.
about. We had a
Bang!
consensus pick. LSU minus 4.5. It is
How
now
appropriate
time.
that it's on one of our teams, too.
I know. I love it. I mean,
I
we had a
love
Clemson game and an LSU game up here. Ohio State doesn't play anyone yet. They have a couple big games this year, so we'll definitely be talking
We'll
about
get you, don't
Ohio
worry.
State on the main game. Same with Texas. Texas
Hook
got a
'em,
lot
baby.
Next
too.
week,
Hook
big
'em,
game.
baby.
I know, big games coming up. But this is our favorite time in the show. We're going to get into our card, which is
Oh,
talking
yo,
every single
you
pick
fucking
that we are
ready.
taking this week. You can have as many or as few, but these are all the lines
Oh.
that you've combed through and decided you are betting. So without further ado, let's get into the cards. We're going to kick off week 1's cards with none other than Mr. Mario himself.
Let's go, baby.
Mr. Perota.
Oh, we are so back.
We are back.
Oh, we are
Giving a
so
card
back.
is just, oh my
I
god.
I mean, there's nothing like it.
There's
Yep,
nothing
let's
like
hear it.
All right. Starting with the games we already talked about. Georgia minus 13.5, under 48.5. A&M minus 2.5, under 46.5. And LSU, big nuke, minus 4.5 and over 64.5.
Murder.
Now, starting every week, the way I always do, Colorado minus 9.5.
He's back.
There it is.
He's
I mean,
back.
we're back. This game's on Thursday, 5 p.m., so get this bet in now.
Yeah.
Moving on to Friday, Oklahoma minus 42.5 versus Temple. Now for Saturday games, West Virginia plus 8.5 versus Penn State. Have to explain this real quick. Every week, I will be fading a random Big Ten team. This week, it was Penn State.
Nice.
I like
So,
that. Sharp.
Moving on, UTSA minus 24.5 versus Kennesaw State. Triple dip, Ohio State, shout out Ryan, minus 49.5 over Akron. Also the over 59.5 and first half minus 31.
Love a triple dip.
Bang.
Oklahoma
1, 2,
State minus 9.5 for South Dakota State. Bad week if you live in the Dakotas. Boise State minus 12.5 versus Georgia Southern. I just love Boise State. I don't know why. Another team I love tremendously, Georgia Tech minus 21.5 versus Georgia State. Big game. Game of the week.
Bang.
Arizona minus 31.5 versus New Mexico. James Madison minus 6.5 for Charlotte. I don't know why I just randomly picked it. It spoke
Yeah.
to me. Kentucky, Southern Miss over 58.5. Points.
Points,
Florida
points.
plus 2.5 versus Miami. Cam Ward's going to struggle. Michigan minus 21.5 versus Fresno State. Bama minus 31.5 versus Western Kentucky. Ole Miss minus 42.5 versus Furman. Some big spreads there. And last but not least, bounce back for Florida State, minus 15.5 versus Boston College.
Bang.
Yeah.
That is the first card of the year.
There it is. Mike.
Let's go. Bang.
Let's hear what
Bing,
you
bang,
got.
boom. All right. Well, kicking off with the picks that we already went over. Georgia minus 13.5. Georgia Clemson over 48.5. Notre Dame plus 2.5. Notre Dame Texas A&M over 46.5. LSU minus 4.5. And LSU USC under 64.5. Moving on, starting similarly as Mario did, although I hate this team so much. Oklahoma on Friday, minus 42.5 against Temple. Easy, do it, bet it. Next up, into a Saturday slate. Texas, minus 32.5. Hook 'em going against Colorado State. Down with Colorado State. Next up, Akron, Ohio State. Over of 59.5. I absolutely love it. Points, points, points. And more points, points, points. Next and last on the card, short card, very short card this week. Miami plus 2.5 against, or I'm sorry, minus 2.5 against Florida. Cam Ward, they are going to be dominant in the ACC. They're going to show it this week. Bang, 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 boom, bang, boom, bang.
Very eloquent,
Boom.
Mike.
Bang, boom.
Very eloquent. Yep. All right,
That's
here
what
we
they call
go.
me.
Pretty
Elegant.
succinct card on my end as well. Some weeks I'll have a bunch of picks. This week I didn't really want to just like spray and pray. I wanted to like pick the ones I was really feeling good on.
That's
so,
inappropriate.
huh?
Nothing. Continue.
Jesus Christ.
What did I say was inappropriate?
He probably assumed
Spray
spray
and
and pray
pray.
was.
No, that's whatever.
It's
all
all
right. All right. Starting at the top, Notre Dame plus 2.5 at Texas A&M. Already covered it. Really like the Fighting Irish here. LSU minus 4.5 against USC, and then double dipping in this Colorado game. I like Colorado minus 9.5 against North Dakota State, and the over 59.5. Think they score a lot of points and get hot early. ESPN has a lot to talk about there. Illinois minus 27.5 against Eastern Illinois.
Wow.
Absolutely love this game. Eastern Illinois is so bad, and Illinois is a semi-reputable team. They're going to win by 40. West Virginia plus 8.5 at home against Penn State. Following Mario there. This wasn't a random fade for me. This number seems very tight, and every season I just have to believe in West Virginia for some reason. I just do it.
You got to.
day in a year.
No.
8.5 it feels like a number. I just want to like take the points and smile and watch Penn State crumble. F- Drew Allar. Temple, Oklahoma over 59.5. Pitt minus 24.5 at home against Kent State. Eastern Michigan plus 1.5 against UMass. They should be favored in this game. Miami minus 2.5 at Florida. I love Cam Ward, and Florida's not very good. They don't have much to play for this season because their schedule is insane. And lastly, Arizona minus 31.5 against New Mexico. This is Noah Fifita's coming out party, and McMillan is a beast at wide receiver. So a lot of points scored in this game. They cover.
Okay,
Bang.
baby. All right. Time
Welcome
for the
to the show.
Let me tell you something.
Dive.
Last year, if you guys were watching, I have the most picks out of anyone here by a mile. I had to start off week one with a bang.
You also had the best percentage.
Best percentage. I'm
55% on the year.
I'm f***ing unbelievable at picking picks. I'm going to tell you a
Picking
bunch of
picks.
picks. Just follow them all. If I'm not 55%, you make a comment down below, you get $55. Simple as that. Simple as that.
Wait, for everyone
If I'm
who
not at
comments?
least 55%, I'll pick one person who comments. I'll give him $55.
I was,
don't got
I was
that
about to
well.
just log into my alt account and comment,
And just
like
comment
90 times.
One person, if you comment, you get a free $55 for nothing. All you do is comment. If I'm
Love
not
that.
55% or better,
Comment
Boom.
your Venmo.
Yeah, just comment any.
Oh, wait.
That's sharp.
Hey.
Comment anything you want, but all right, get ready because I'm not gonna have my voice after this.
All right, let's hear
All
it.
right, here we go. NC State minus 33.5 versus Western Carolina. Western Carolina team total under 14.5. Arkansas Pine Bluff versus Arkansas over 57.5. Arkansas team total over 15.5. Tulane minus 25.5 versus Southeast Louisiana. Coastal Carolina versus Jacksonville State over 55.5. Kansas Jayhawks team total over 50.5 versus Linwood.
Love it.
You love that team. North Carolina minus 1.5 versus Minnesota. Murder. Murray State versus Missouri over 57.5. Missouri team total over 51.5.
Love it.
Absolute million. Michigan State minus 14 versus FAU. Illinois minus 27.5 versus Eastern Illinois. Love that. Bang. Oklahoma versus Temple over 59.5. Points. Wisconsin team total over 40.5 versus Western Michigan. TCU Stanford over 59.5.
Love it.
Clemson Georgia under.
Yep.
Under.
Under.
Under. Under. Penn State minus 8.5 versus West Virginia. Penn State team total over 28.5. Iowa minus 22.5 versus Illinois State. Virginia Tech Vanderbilt over 50.5. Maryland team total over versus UConn 31.5. Pitt team total over 38.5 versus Kent State. Tennessee versus Chattanooga over 56.5. Oklahoma State minus 9.5 versus South Dakota State. Portland State plus 28.5 versus Washington State. Ohio State Akron over 58.5. Texas team total over of 43.5 versus Colorado State. Miami versus Florida. Under 54.5.
Love it.
Florida plus 2.5 versus that Miami team. Nebraska minus 27.5 versus UTEP. Iowa State minus 20.5 versus North Dakota. UTSA team total over 35.5 versus Kansas State. Triple dip. Boise State minus 12.5 versus Georgia Southern. Boise State, Georgia Southern over 57.5. Boise State team total over of 33.5. Marshall team total over 38.5 versus Stony Brook. North Texas, South Alabama over 64.5. North Texas team total over 28.5. Liberty minus 36.5 versus Campbell. Liberty team total over 43.5. Alabama, Western Kentucky under 59.5. Ole Miss minus 42.5 against that team called Furman. Kansas State, UT Martin over 56.5. Oregon team total over of 51.5 versus Idaho State. Texas A&M, Notre Dame under 46.5. Middle Tennessee State minus 23.5 versus Tennessee Tech. Memphis team total over 47.5 against North Alabama. Georgia Tech versus Georgia State over 56.5. Texas State minus 32.5 against Lamar, not Jackson, just Lamar. And Texas State, Lamar over 61.5. Arizona, New Mexico State over 58.5. Wyoming plus 6.5 versus Arizona State. USC, LSU over 64.5. LSU minus 4.5 versus USC. And LSU team total over 32.5. And the last bet we make on every single podcast for the rest of my life. SMU team total over 47.5, baby. Woo! Come on! Can you be stopped?
Wow.
Woo!
Wow. I watched college football actively, and I didn't know 30% of those teams.
Bang!
I didn't know.
55% or better.
Woohoo!
55% or better. How many picks was that?
That was 56 picks, I think.
56
Give or take
picks.
15.
You gotta hit a lot of those.
Oh, I'm
you
hitting
gotta hit
all-
a lot of bets.
I mean,
Yeah.
you
I
were-
think I'm going to hit 40 at least.
You were spitting bars there. You were
I was-
rapping.
no, I mean,
Absolutely not. Well, there you have it for the card. I mean, that was an absolutely unbelievable card. I mean, that was as good as it gets.
Wait, so how are you not out of breath?
Because I'm like that, Mike. I spit bars in my free time. Go
That's
check out my
insane.
SoundCloud.
Well,
Dude,
Did I say something?
that was
As Michael said, the train derailed really quick.
yeah, that was not safe for YouTube. So that'll definitely have been bleeped out. You're not gonna know what we were talking about. Michael asked, "How are you not out of breath?" It turns out Ryan's breath was fine, but his brain is completely up.
Yes.
So
It is.
that's getting bleeped out.
Wow.
But that was it for the cards. The last thing before we get into the Mortal Lock Parlay, which if you're new here, I'm going to explain in a minute, is our intern. His name is Johnson.
Intern Johnson.
His
Intern
crappy pick
Johnson.
of the week.
IJ.
This is every week. It's just
No
like
one's seen it.
a shitty game. It's like no one watches. One of those you got to get like 3 streams. You got to hook up to some
Yeah.
random thing to view.
Yeah.
One of our
Probably
best
not
picks
gonna
last
It's
year.
one of the best picks that we give out. So Mario has the pick.
Yes,
we haven't
I've
heard
been-
it yet. You're gonna
Wait,
relay it to the.
I've been entrusted with
email
the
it to you,
information.
or
No,
how'd
no,
you
no,
get
no,
it?
only by mail.
yeah,
Oh,
by
I've
mail.
I've been
Carrier
entrusted.
pigeon.
So now, to reveal the intern Johnson crappy pick of the week, it is
See.
Arkansas State minus 10.5 versus Central Arkansas.
Good.
I love that. No, I
It's a
love
good
that.
game.
What a game!
God, Intern
The
Johnson.
Arkansas
He's
State
so sharp.
Central Arkansas.
I did not
Week
know
one
they were
matchup.
both-
No one
He's
knows
so
what's
sharp.
going
It's a
on
big
out there
game.
in
I
Arkansas.
didn't
It's a
know
big
either
game
of
in
those two
Arkansas.
teams
Well-
had teams.
Now we're into the part of the podcast that gets interesting for you,
Oh, yeah.
the subscriber.
Free money.
This is called the Mortal Lock Parlay. We do this every week where it's the best bet that each of us have for the entire week. It's what we call our Mortal Locks. We're going to parlay all 4 of our picks together, our best bets. Put money on it for you, the viewer. And if you're subscribed, if you like the video and you comment, and that parlay hits, those 4 picks hit, we're giving you $1,000. It's
so easy.
So we pick
Bang.
one person who's
4
subscribed,
digits.
likes, and comments on the video. $1,000 if these 4 picks hit. So
just so
you
easy.
get a free roll sweat of our best bets every week. We hit it once last year.
Yep.
We hit it once last year, and we paid a subscriber.
We were
out.
close like 3-4 times.
Yeah, shout out Bill's Year 17-0.
Oh, yeah.
Always comment on the videos, loyal subscriber,
Yep.
and he got paid as a result of it. So if you're new
Loyalty
here, not
pays.
subscribed, do that now so you don't miss a chance.
3 buttons for
a free
$1,000
roll.
bucks.
Yeah,
Come on.
exactly. It's very easy, and if you maybe say there's like 10 people that do it, Like we have a lot of subscribers, but 10 people that comment, there's only 10 people that can win.
You're the
So it's pretty good EV for you. Ryan, we're starting off hot
Oh, yeah.
with you for the Mortal Locks. What is your best bet of the week? What's the first leg of the Mortal Lock parlay?
This one was tough. This board this week, I didn't love. Nothing like caught my eye.
You didn't
But
love
you
you had
did.
60
No.
picks.
Love. These were. I'm all betting these as one unit. This is my 10 unit mega whale. when it's
Okay,
more
mega
one.
whale.
This
Mega
is
whale.
something it took me a while to find, and I hate it so much, and that's why I think it's the right pick. I'm personally going with Michigan minus 20.5 versus Fresno State.
Wow.
Whoa.
It sounds crazy.
I love it. No, I
sounds,
love it.
It sounds crazy. They're at home. They have a game against Texas next week. People think that
Look
they
ahead spot.
Yeah, they're gonna lose against Texas next week.
That's fine. They can do whatever they want.
yeah.
But I think that this is a spot where people are so worried about their past and losing starters. They're bringing back 11 starters. 11 of the 22 players who played in the national championship last year. They're replacing JJ McCarthy with Alex Orji. With
Great-
you
great name.
guys might not.
It's a great name.
It's a great name. Orji is my
a great
favorite.
name.
But I think like JJ McCarthy, people were saying, isn't that great? So it's not that hard to replace him. And in my opinion, Donovan Edwards is right behind Blake Corum. I know people don't like him. He was the cover of Madden for a reason. I think he's unbelievable. So I don't think they're missing a beat, and I still think they're the best defense in the country.
I was going to say this defense, don't sleep on
until
it.
proven otherwise. They're the best cornerback in the country. They're probably one of the best D lines in the country.
Yeah, I know how
And
much Fresno's gonna be able to score on them.
so I was saying, I
True.
love this pick. I think Michigan, if they're gonna not stop. They can't do bullshit, relax going to Texas next week. You're gonna throw everything you got, your new players, your backups, whoever fits the program, and they're all gonna play their asses off to play against Texas next week.
Yeah.
I think this is a murder. I love Michigan here at home in Ann Arbor. Huge
Well,
spot.
Ohio State fan taking Michigan as a mortal lock,
Yeah.
that's some
It's
conviction behind
actually
it.
Sharp.
good.
I looked quite a bit at these lines, and one just stuck out to me as the most obvious no-brainer pick, which sometimes makes me want to fade myself. But I'm very convinced this pick hits, so I'm going to be absolutely hammering it. It's the LSU USC over of 64.5. I tried to overthink this a bunch of different ways, but the game's in Vegas in a dome,
Yeah.
and you got Lincoln Riley's offense with a new quarterback. He wants to show out. They're going to score points. Lincoln Riley's defense, who never stops anyone. They allow a million points.
40
And on the flip side, you have Nussmeier, who's supposedly, Heisman candidate, can throw the
Nussy.
ball. LSU receivers, we know how they do. I think this is just 100 points in this game.
I love it.
Like, there might be 120 points scored. in this
I
game.
love it.
So,
Wow.
yeah, give me the over 64.5. Lock it in.
Woohoo! All right. This is kind of a grimy little mortal lock, but you're going to love it because I love it. It is Georgia Tech minus 21.5 going against Georgia State. And here's why I love it. The first reason is going to be because of a trend, and that trend is Georgia State has failed to cover the spread in 6 of its last 7 road openers.
Ooh,
So
Like that.
I
Love the
love the
stats.
continuing of the trend there.
Good stat.
I also really like on Georgia Tech the running back who named Jamal Haynes. He went for 11 carries, 75 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think the guy is kind of dialed. Georgia State
The
is
offensive line's
irrelevant.
awesome for Georgia Tech.
100%. Their offensive line is insane. And I mean, they were going against DJ the Avatar, but their defense did actually end up looking pretty good regardless. And so, yeah, Georgia Tech minus 21.5.
Ride that
Georgia
momentum.
State
I
is
like that.
absolutely
I like
irrelevant,
riding the
and
wave
they're
I like,
going
how
down.
I like how it's the same number as Michigan too. They're both 21.5.
Bet.
I love
Michigan
these-
20.5 or 21.5?
I got 21.5.
21.5.
Ryan loves
21
21.5.
He does. All right, you guys are going to hate my
Wow. Sorry, I had to take like 5 seconds to understand what Michael just said. But go ahead.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah.
Skip over.
He
it
really
quickly.
tries his best to derail the pod as
Oh, yeah.
often as he can.
I mean, Ryan did it earlier.
Okay. Mario,
Anyways.
last leg of the parlay.
Yeah, last leg of the parlay. You guys are gonna hate this.
Oh.
This was just I looked at the slate and this was just gut feeling first game that spoke to me.
Oh, God.
It's a huge number. My mortal this week is gonna be Texas minus 32.5.
Wow.
State.
I love it!
Wow.
So you're
Wow.
telling me
Horns!
we have Texas as immortal
God,
and
I've never-
LSU over as immortal.
Yeah.
I
And
love
Michigan
you.
as
I
a
love you.
Oh, goodness.
Oh,
This
my
is
God.
trouble. What a parlay.
What a
I
week
mean,
one.
this is a win.
I love it!
Week one.
Love it!
Wow. So there you have it. If Michigan covers, the LSU USC game goes over, Georgia Tech covers, and Texas covers, we're paying out someone $1,000.
Woo!
You just
Four
be subscribed,
digits.
like, comment on the videos.
easy.
And there you have it. That's the
shit.
pod. Week 1 in the
Oh
books.
my.
I mean, week 1 not in the books. Week 1 episode in the books. Week 1 is starting today. This is getting posted
Texas
on
starting off with a
Thursday.
bang. I
Let's
feel it.
go,
Yeah.
baby.
I know, I love
Look
that
at
pick.
horns.
I love that pick. Texas, they better cover. They're going to cover.
Oh,
That's
we're
my
gonna
Georgia
go.
Tech
Oh, we're
pick.
gonna
We
go.
got LSU and we got Michigan.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, this actually might
This
be.
is this is going to hit. This week's going to hit.
love that.
Mario, we kind of just told the people what they need to do
No, I
to
mean-
win the subscriber picks parlay, but
Yeah.
remind them if they're not already, locked in
Remind
the channel.
them.
If you're not a subscriber, you better be a subscriber to get entered into that Mortal Luck parlay.
Do it. It's free. It's free.
Hit the notification bell. Like, comment, and we'll see you next week.
Let's go, baby! Come on, guys.
Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
Baby, week 1.